Libra, hello there, my beautiful friends. We're going to do your general tarot reading for early to mid November 2025. Thank you so much for joining me today. You know, I appreciate each and every single one of you. So let's get right down to business as always and start you off with an oracle card here, just so we can dip our toes in the energy and see what's happening for the lovely Libra collective. Hope you're all doing fabulous and fantastic, my friends. Let's get it going here. My guide, spirit team, talk to me. What do we got for these lovely Libras in early to mid-November? What energies, messages, insights can we take a little peek at? And yeah, we're just going to take a real quick look at this first card. Then we'll get into the full reading itself. At the very end, I'll pull you a bonus card from the Shadowland Tarot, just to see who might be in the shadows or what shadow work you can lean into, which is always interesting. But let's get it going here. Let's rock and see what we got for Libra. Early to mid-November. What's the vibe? What's the energy? Let's get this card out nice and quick for my good friends. There we go. Ask and you shall receive. Something with time. And this card is always simple, but there's a lot of layers, right? We see the lady there with the hourglass. Time could be a big factor unless you're waiting for something. Now, before we fully dive into that, if you're new here, I'll be speaking about the November subscriber surprise towards the end, so you might want to check that out. And also, if you could kindly illuminate that like button by tapping it right on its third eye, you know I'd greatly appreciate it. But enough of the promo, back into the reading. Let's talk about this. So again, we see this lady, she's wearing a hood. A little mysterious, right? She has the hourglass and the sands are slipping through her fingers. Now, time affects us all in a lot of different ways. So again, for some of you, maybe there's something you're waiting on. Maybe a certain amount of time has passed, or you're waiting on some sort of goalpost, if that makes sense. Um, in the positive sense, I always say when I see this, it's like I'm making the most of my time. Time is working for me. Time doesn't feel like it's moving too fast, but this card can also sometimes represent time slipping through your fingers. I don't want to say, hey, you're running out of time, Libra. I'm not going to go there. But again, you know how time is, or there's like some days where the days feel like they drag on and on and on. Some days they go by like, boop, snap of the finger. So time can affect us in a lot of different ways. Now, there could be various things you're going through or experiencing where time might just be the answer. And I don't mean that as a cop out. Maybe that spirit just saying, like, hey, just give it a little more time. And I know that's a very subjective type of thing. But we're just going to have to see how it plays as we move through the reading itself. Because I think for some of you, this could be good. It could be patient. It could be nice and slow moving. But at the same time, it can also feel like I'm wasting time. Um, so just take it for whatever it's worth. We're going to let her chill right there. I mean, again, unless there's something you're waiting for. But let's see what shows up within the reading. Or somebody might be. Again, it doesn't just have to be you. But yeah, I always say that first card, it doesn't make or break the reading. It's just a little footnote. So let's get you 3 tarot cards in the upright. Then we'll get into that intuitive juiciness. Shuffle it up one time here for my good Libra friends. And while we get this deck shuffled up and ready to go, let's talk about last week's reading. Very intriguing to me because normally I try to look at what's coming up. And last week's reading was kind of looking at stuff that's already happened. The reading was titled An Unfinished Situation. Now, again, in life, it happens from time to time where you feel like, all right, there's still more to the story, or like there's unfinished business. And that was showing up within the reading a lot last week. So we're going to see if it still shows up this week. As you know, energy is very fluid, never set in stone. So only take this how it's for you, because we can be seeing your vibe or somebody else, right? Let's get it going. 3 cards for Libra in early to mid-November. What's the vibe here? Let's get 3 cards for my good friends. Oh, okay. So don't get nervous about that. We are in Scorpio season, so that's not something that's like freaking me out. But let's get a couple more here. Actually, let me put the tower right in place. It's very intense. It's a very intense energy. But you know me, I'm an optimistic reader, so I don't get nervous when I see that tower. Okay, we got the Page of Swords, very cautious type of energy. Very cautious. Let's get one more. I mean, that is one of your power cards. Let's get one more here. What do we got, Libra? Okay. I mean, we do have the Fool and you have a bonus. So there's a lot of stuff popping up here. Big Aries energy. And on the back end for your bonus, you have a good little pal here, the Page of Cups. Lots of page energy, lots of talking, communicating potentially in the energy. And I've been seeing that in like a lot of signs this week. There's a lot of people, a lot of chit chat. Now, let's go through. I'll give you some of the classical meanings and archetypes. Then we'll get into that juicy, intuitive stuff. But at first look, first glance, we have a nice mixture of elements at the very least. And I always think that that's important because the elements affect different areas of life. So we have water with the Tower and the Page of Cups. So, and again, I know the fire, the tower looks like fire and brimstone, but that's Scorpio energy. It is watery, and we're in Scorpio season right now. That's the realm of feelings and emotions, right? Our internal world. Sometimes it could be very creative and expressive. Water can also be very extreme. It could be very up and down. It could represent love and partnerships, but it can also represent someone really going through it. So we want to look closer at it. Then we have air, which is your power element, especially with the Page of Swords, the realm of the mind, mental well being, just thought process, very strategic, extremely intelligent. So I like it. Big communicator. Then we have fire, which is also an element that works well with Libra energy. The realm of action, passion, drive, desire, but it's unpredictable. So there's like unpredictable energy, there's different energies flowing, there's energies talking. So we're just going to have to see how all this plays out because these could be separate different things, but it's kind of a little scattered at the moment. So let's go through and start building this out piece by piece. Position number one, the tower. Now, if you watch tarot, I'm sure you've seen this card a time or two. It happens, right? I always tell people don't get freaked out about that. Yes, it's a card that can represent shock. Yes, it's an energy that can intensify quickly, pop in out of nowhere, pop in out of the blue. But that's not always a bad thing. Sometimes towers are good. Now, I already mentioned that. I mean, Scorpio energy, it's a big thing. Currently, at the time of this filming, we're in Scorpio season. So maybe it's just going to show us something that's coming towards you in the short term future. That's very possible. Um, but the tower does have some downside to it. It is a karmic card, so it can represent big times of change and metamorphosis. Aside from the shock and just super intense action based type of energy, it could represent hitting the reset button on something where it's like, all right, clean slate. Let's try this again, clean slate. Yes, it can represent endings. Yes, it can represent problems and difficulties. So we do want to look at it at a much deeper level. But just remember, not every tower is a bad tower. So we'll circle back on that. Now, moving to the middle, as we get the tower back in by the amethyst, we have the Page of Swords. And as I mentioned, it's your power element. It's one of your power cards. It doesn't necessarily have to mean it's you as a Libra. It could be another air sign, right? It could be a Gemini or an Aquarius or another Libra. Now, all pages are messengers and they're all students. So this is great for a new energy coming in, whether it's work, business, people. Like I like the page. This page is different than the others. And again, they're all communicators, but this one is very defensive. This one is very skeptical. It's watching out. So again, whether you're being cautious, maybe someone you're connected to has the walls up and they're being cautious as well. This card is called the Watcher of the Tarot deck for a reason. So when it shows up, it's like, all right, well, maybe there's something Spirit wants you to keep an eye on. Maybe there's something you need to continue to keep under your microscope. Maybe someone's watching you, right? I'm not trying to freak you out or get you nervous, but it is the observer of the tarot deck. So we'll look into him further. And it could just be a conversation, potentially, but the energy does feel a little guarded, a little standoffish. Now we move to the back end, the energy is totally different. Because up here, we're a little heavy, right? The energy is a little intense. This one's intense too, but it's totally vibe switch city. So we have the Fool, Aries, that's your zodiacal opposite. Normally Libra and Aries energy gets along very well. Now, I like the Fool. Again, it's fresh, it's new, it represents new things, new cycles, new adventures. I really like it. It's somebody with a sense of optimism. So when we get this card, I'm like, okay, all right, we might be seeing things a little bit different here when this Fool card shows up. But there is a warning. Aside from the action and all the stuff I was speaking about already, the Fool can sometimes do things without thinking them through, right? Like notice the dog is always like trying to, hey, don't walk off the cliff there. So with the caution, with the tower, now with the Fool, there's either an abundance of caution or Spirit asking you to step lightly with something. That could very much be possible because sometimes this Fool will just act before it thinks. So again, I'm not saying it's you, it could be somebody else. And then, yeah, with the fire air combination and the tower, there is an explosive energy here as well. So whether it's a person, whether it's a situation, there's an energy that can intensify rather quickly, which again doesn't have to be bad. Now, moving to your bonus, we do have an energy that cools things off a little bit. We have the Page of Cups. So it's different than this Page of Swords. This one is much more open. This page, yes, it's a student. Yes, it's fresh and new, whether it's a water sign, Cancer, Pisces, Scorpio. But this one is emotionally expressive. So this one is huge for communications, conversations, and talks. So again, as you can see, there's a lot of chit chat. There's a lot of fresh energy here, fresh perspectives. But then there's like intensity as well. There's a lot of intensity and things that could just pop in. So We're going to put this page of cups down right now. I want to dive deeper on all of it, Libra. Let's do it. Let's jump in and clarify. Okay, let's get a good shuffle here. Let's see what we got. And yes, this is where I go intuitive with the message, which means I just tell you how it feels to me. So feel free to do further research or rely on your base knowledge of tarot, because as you know, every single reading is about the reader's interpretation, and I'm just giving you mine. Let's go in on the Tower. Oh, and yes, if you're a reader yourself, please feel free to play along. That's what box is here. If you're feeling any messages you want to give to Libra, drop it in the comments. I don't mind at all. Okay, let's get this Tower going. Why is the Tower here? Quick. It's just like out of the blue type of action. So whether it's actions you're taking, action someone else is taking, it's like it's not thinking it through, that's for sure. Because to me, the Hanged Man is an energy that is over analytical. Okay. And you have the Hanged Man in reverse underneath the Tower. So it's like act before think, or it's someone just doing something, and either it's someone that throws caution to the wind and says, you know what, I overthink things a lot, I'm not going to overthink this, I'm just going to do it, screw it. It's like giving me that kind of vibe. And I've seen this for you maybe like a month or two ago, where I felt like more of a risky energy. So watch out in this time, Libra. You might be willing to gamble a little more than you normally are, or risk it for the biscuit, so to speak. Now, if this Hanged Man was in the upright, flipped around, I'd be like, okay, all right, maybe this energy is being hyper cautious, hyper vigilant, hyper aware, but in reverse, underneath this, it's like shocking action. So either this is a warning, like I was saying, a shocking warning, explosive warning, whatever label we want to put on it, or it's someone making a move, saying, you know, screw it, I'm going to do it. I'm not going to delay. I'm not going to overthink it. Boom, I'm going to do it. And it just happens quick. So we're going to keep going. And for some of you, if this isn't you, you might be observing it. You might be observing someone act this way, where it's like, oh, all right, you're acting a little different there. Like, why are you acting so wild? The energy just feels very risky to me. Let's keep going to the Page of Swords. Maybe this energy calms it down a little bit. I don't want to call it a mistake yet. We'll see what else shows up. Let's go in on the Page of Swords, though. Why's the Page of Swords here for Libra? Okay. Very curious type of energy I'm picking up now. So I have the High Priestess in reverse underneath this Page of Swords. So this energy is very much on guard, but at the same time, it's curious. Like, all right, well, let's see how this goes. Like, oh, yeah, that's what you're going to do? Can't wait to see how that turns out. It's like giving me that kind of vibe, Libra. So again, I still think there is that observational type of energy. So whether it's something or someone you're keeping an eye on, whether it's a situation, whether someone's keeping an eye on you, because remember, the High Priestess, she represents mystery overall to me, right? She is the card of psychics, intuitives, tarot readers, and all that stuff, but she is very, very mysterious. So when I see her in reverse under this Page of Swords, it's like, oh, I'm watching because I can't look away. Let me grab my popcorn here. So it's like somebody observing. So again, whether it's you under the microscope or whether there's a situation or someone acting a little wild, it's like, let's see where this goes. Let's see what happens. It's kind of like I'm watching reality television, if that makes sense. We're going to keep going. We're going to keep going. I mean, it is what it is. No comments. Let's see what's up with the Fool, because that energy could get a little wild too. But why is the Fool here for Libra? Then we'll do our recap before we get into the shadow. So talk to me. Why do we have the Fool card? And the Moon in reverse. All right, so listen, I know in life the universe throws curveballs from time to time. It's just, it's expected, right? You always expect it because it happens. There's always going to be unforeseen things, unforeseen circumstances, stuff that pops up, good and bad. Uh, but the energy does seem to balance out, whereas this one feels very intense, this one feels intense but better, if that makes sense. So we have the Moon in reverse underneath the Fool, so more of this Piscean water sign type of energy, and the Moon is similar to the High Priestess, where it represents the unexpected, the unknown. So notice we have the Tower, High Priestess reverse, Moon in reverse. These are all energies coming forward, revealing, but in different times. Like, that's how it shows up. It's like different stages, different times of revelation. Now, the Moon in reverse underneath the Fool, I'm hopeful about this. For some of you, maybe there is something where it's like 50-50, where it's like, oh, this could be a Tower or it could be the Fool. I'm going to wait and see how it goes before I make a move. But I don't think someone's waiting. I think the energy is a little bit risk averse, where it's like, you only live once. Screw it. I'm going to do it. So again, I don't know what that is, who it is that's being a little more risk taking, gambly type of vibe. And I'm cautious to call it a warning. Like it can be a warning. But at the same time, like sometimes you do got to take a leap. Sometimes you do have to take a risk. That's how it feels to me. Sometimes you got to do what you got to do. Um, I don't think it's bad, but just the energy, it's just like things popping up out of the blue. So whether it's people, whether it's situations, it's like one after another, one after another after another. So just maybe lay low this week or the next couple weeks because the energy is just popping off. Let's go through and do a quick recap. Then we'll get into the shadow. So a little wild this week, Libra. So I'm not sure if you're feeling a little bit wild, but the energy sure is. If you kindly look in the box, position number one, we have the tower with the hanged man in reverse, throwing caution to the wind, saying, screw it, I'm going to do it. Shocking action, or just someone taking the plunge, so to speak. There could be certain people acting a little bit different. But there's observation happening. As we move to the middle, aside from all that shocking energy, we have the Page of Swords, the Watcher, with the High Priestess in reverse. So there's a certain curiosity here where it's like, what's going on? What's happening? What's going on over there? I'm going to watch. I'm going to grab my popcorn. It's like giving me that kind of energy. So whether you're watching something or keeping an eye on it or somebody else is, it's there. Moving to the back end, very similar to the front, but a little better, if that makes sense. Where it's like, all right, well, I wouldn't have done that. I would have done this. We have this powerful energy of action all over the place and stuff happening out of the blue. So these could be consecutive things. We have the Fool card taking the plunge and the Moon in reverse, where it's like, you know what? Can't foresee everything, can't plan for everything, so I'm just going to do it. It's like giving me that kind of vibe. So lots of action, lots of mystery, lots of curveballs. You might want to lay low. But again, it could be good for some of you, especially with the Fool back here. It doesn't feel like it's all bad. But please take a screenshot if you want to look into it further. Let's see what's in the shadows. Okay, let's get a good shuffle here. And yeah, I always like to pull one shadow card at the very end just to see whether it's something within you or something you don't quite see. Shadow cards don't always have to be a challenge, they could be a good thing too. So let's get you one. Oh, and yes, if you made it to this point in the reading, please feel free to check out channel memberships. I'll put a link for it in the comments below. It's a beautiful way to support the channel, and I have much love for all my channel members. Okay, let's get this card out. What do we got for Libra? Yeah, this energy is a little more wild. Yeah, and there's the risky energy again. It's all over the place, Libra. Seriously, like the risky type of energy. We got the Wheel of Fortune in the shadows. Now, for a lot of you, this could be luck being on your side. Uh, Especially with this, I always call this my four-leaf clover, and with it in the shadows, even though we got some wild stuff happening within the reading itself, the Wheel of Fortune is like the karmic hands moving, but it's like luck being on your side. So I always think that's a great thing. But it shares similarities to a lot of the stuff we've already seen because the wheel moves quick, it's fast, it's rapid, it's sudden. So sudden urges, sudden actions, sudden things, like these things are just popping in, popping in, popping in. So the next couple weeks might be very interesting in a lot of different ways for a lot of Libras. I could tell you that. There is some good spiritual protection here, especially with the Wheel of Fortune. So, hey, maybe your gamble will pay off. Maybe your risk will pay off. So we're just going to put it down right there, my good friends. That's what I have for you this week. Don't click away just yet, though. I'm going to give you the details. The November subscriber surprise. If you would like further insight on your situation and you'd like to have a little chat with me, you can book a personal reading with me on my website, mastermetaphysics.com. You'll see my digital calendar is open for the month of November. They're filling up pretty quick, so if you'd like to have a chat, come over and see me. But for the November subscriber surprise, I'm giving away 3 copies of a lovely deck. It's fairly new. It's called Tarot of the Woodland Wardens. It has a whole bunch of fluffy critters. It's really adorable. I think everyone would like it. So if you like to get your name in for this, it's 2 simple things as always, my friends. First, you must be subscribed. And second, let me know down in the comments, since it is November, what are you most grateful for right now? You'll be entered to win, and at the end of the month, the winners will be announced in my community tab. As always, my friends, much love, and I'll see you soon.